So in today's class, I am going to teach you or show you how to make a fire using a method that we call a hand drill. And specifically, we're going to be using mullein that grows out in fields if it hasn't been cut in a couple of years, or along the roadside you can find a mullein plant. It grows straight, it grows tall. You could pick it and you could sand it down and you get these really straight, beautiful rods of soft wood. It's actually not a wood, it's actually a plant, and in the middle of it, it's very pithy and soft in the center because it's more like a plant than it is a tree. And this one is burnt in. You can see the burn in the center. It's also very pithy. But the beautiful thing about mullein is how straight it grows and that it's soft, and it creates a tremendous amount of heat via friction. Now I have two pieces. One is long and one is short. I'm going to show you today how to use the long piece of mullein. And I like it because I can stand up when I do it. I don't have to squat down. And you'll also see that I'm able to start at the top and work my way down when I'm spinning it. It gives me a long time that I could spin it. It also is narrow at the top and it gets wider at the bottom. So for two reasons this is really helpful. So for one is, if you think about it, when you spin the top, you're able to get a lot more spins out of it in your hand. And because it's wider in the bottom, if you try to do it down here, you'd probably get about half the amount of spin action as you would when you do it at the top. Also, because it's thinner at the top and it's wider at the bottom, it's less likely that your hand will slide down, because as you're going down, the piece of wood is getting fatter and fatter. And so it tends to have a tendency of keeping your hand higher up at the top and thus getting more spins out of it. So what I'm going to do is utilize this mullein, and I have a piece of wood here I already had some notches burnt out from various methods. This is a piece of pine wood. It's very soft wood. And you need to have a soft wood in order to generate ash, and it should be about the same softness as the mullein. It happens to be a good match, the pine wood and the mullein. You can't make a base of mullein because it's too soft. At least I've never done it. But we could take the mullein and we could spin it into one of the notches. And you notice one of the holes that are here. We got about a little over 1/8 of an inch of wood left in here, which should be enough. And there's also a notch that I place in here, so when you spin the ash will drop and accumulate. But I'm going to do one other thing to make this quicker and easier for me. You only have so much spin and your hands get tired. So what happens is when you spin mullein, you spin your spindle into your wood, the first part of the effort and the few minutes that you're doing, what you're basically doing is you're creating a pile of ash. And that pile of ash has to build until you're able to get hot ash that impregnates into that pile. And it takes a lot of time to do. So instead of spinning the mullein to create ash, I'm going to use this piece of punkwood found, it's basically rotted maple or partially decomposed maple. And the cellular structure is open, it's very punky, it's very light, it's very airy. And what I did is I ground it down and I put it into this little Altoid container, a little candy container, and I'm going to use that as my pile of ash so that I don't have to grind so much on the mullein. Okay? So what I'm going to do is, this is the hole that I'm going to be using. I'll place a little leaf under there. So I'm placing ground up punkwood into the notch, and I'm putting it right at the edge of it. When I start to spin the mullein, it's not going to take me that long because I already have this dried up punkwood sitting there. So now all I need to do is get a little bit of the hot ember of the mullein to infiltrate into that pile. Hopefully we'll get it to go. I'm going to place a rock on here so that doesn't move. I'm also going to, because I've been doing this for a while and I tend to get blisters on my hands. So you can see right here there's a blister. And I'm going to put some gloves on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is start spinning our mullein, and we're hoping that it's going to smoke. We're going to create an ember. It's going to drop into that little pile of punkwood that we have, and we'll go from there. So basically the action is straight down and turn. And you just have to keep doing this and be cool and calm about it. All right, you can't rush it. But you do have to get a spin going, and you got to put downward pressure on it.
how long would you say this usually takes?
Well, as long as my arms don't burn out, like maybe 5 minutes. Sometimes it's good to have a helper standing right next to you, so when your arms get tired, they, and I can actually work my way down.
Twist again, like we did last summer.
All right, so it's starting to smoke. Here it is. You see the smoke coming out of it.
Whoa.
Yep, there it goes. Just got to keep coming down on it. And I have a feeling we probably got it already, but it takes. I took off my jacket because it's really hot. Okay, and that's probably the last shot I'm going to give it because I'm pretty sure that we have a nice hot coal there. If we don't, I'll be darned. So I'm just going to blow on it a little bit. You see that it's still smoking away. And what I'm going to do, after I take these gloves off, I'm going to take this rock off, and I'm just going to tap the wood, and you'll see a beautiful coal sitting there. Now, my hands are shaking right now because I just worked so hard at it, so I think if I touch that leaf, I'm going to mess it up. So I'm just going to wait a minute.
And it's not going to burn out?
Not going to burn out. It's going to burn for a little while. I have here my bird's nest, which is dry grass and pine needles. So what we're going to do is transfer that beautiful ember right into the center of that grass. And then we're going to,
whoa, I can see
we're going to fold it over. And we'll just take this over to the fire pit so that when or if it lights up, which it should, we'll be able to put it into the fire pit. You can see it's already starting to smoke nicely. I really believe that the hole was already started, which makes it easy, and I used that chopped up punk wood. So therefore I didn't have to keep drilling and drilling just to create a pile of ash. I was just able to drill so that the ash that I formed impregnated itself into the pile of punk wood that was sitting there. It made it much easier. It's just a matter of time. Make sure we give this thing air, that this should light up.
Don't burn your fingers.
I just don't see anything happening.
Well, because it's happening behind you.
It is?
Yeah, it's behind your fingers.
Oh. I guess we just have to give it time. It'll go.
Dad, your hand's literally gonna catch on fire.
Nah, it won't. So we'll just kind of fan it, and you'll see that smoke start to get really heavy, and you'll probably hear the flame before you actually see it. You can see it getting heavy. You see the smoke is getting heavy?
Yeah.
Just have to be patient and let it build.
What if it can't get air because you trapped it inside of it?
It's a good question, yeah, so that's why it's not lighting so quickly, but it will. It will. We're gonna have fire. See how heavy it just got?
Ooh, ooh,
And there's your fire, guys.
Whoa!
There you go.
Wow.
Fire by hand drill using a long piece of mullein. You just have to have perseverance with it, and you'll get it to go. You just got to work it hard. And I saved my hands using those gloves because last time I did it, I got a little blister. So the gloves actually work really well. All right, so thank you for watching this video, and come back and you'll see all my other videos about Quest for Fire.